Hello. History 1-2 Lecture 8 World War II. Part of Holocaust Part 3. So to close out the Holocaust portion, I want to talk. We talked about the primary documents. Okay, the weight of the primary document evidence. Okay, the weight of the primary document evidence is that between as early as December 1941 and as early as the winter of 1942, you can use the primary documents to prove, to show the weight of the evidence is that, it became and was for several years, 41 to 45, National Socialist German government policy to exterminate the Jewish population in Europe. Okay. Are there spotty records? Yes. Are there questions you can ask? Yes, absolutely. You should. Questions are okay. When you study the primary documents, the weight of the evidence is that yes, between as early as December 1941 and as late as early 42, it became German government policy to exterminate the Jewish population in Europe. You can show that. Okay. That doesn't mean that there's not legitimate questions to ask. It doesn't mean that there's some mystery or some weird stuff, but it just is. That is the weight of the evidence. Okay. This part, I want to go into the secondary documents, the secondary sources, the books. If you want to study it yourself, if you want to dive in, want to become a graduate student, whatever, these would be the schools of thought. Timothy Mason was a British historian. He was a Marxist. Don't hold that against him. He was a Marxist historian. Timothy Mason, he looked at, in 1981, he did a paper. He looked at all the literature up to that point, and he put different books into different schools of thought. And since 1981, so for the last 4 or 5 decades, historians of Germany in the 30s, the Holocaust, World War II, they kind of fit into these two groups of interpretations on the Holocaust. Okay. There's the functionalist and the intentionalist. Functionalist historians argue that no, Hitler did not have a master plan for the Holocaust. When he took office, when he took power in January 1933, he didn't have this plan to exterminate the Jewish population in Europe. And what functionalists also argue, question 2 from earlier, that while Hitler's rhetoric created the environment, the bureaucracy, the German bureaucracy, worked towards the Führer. In other words, Hitler gave the speech. Hitler was an idea guy. Hitler gave great speeches. He gave speeches. He was an idea guy. He had the vision. Okay. It was up to the German bureaucracy. It was up to the German bureaucracy to implement those policies. Right? Intentionalists argue that yes, National Socialists and Adolf Hitler did have a master plan to exterminate the Jewish population in Europe. The best evidence of that is actually they quote, historians that think this, they quote Mein Kampf. There is a section in Mein Kampf where Chancellor Hitler, well back then candidate Hitler, where Chancellor Hitler thinks or kind of imagines or kind of wishes, he was like, what did the government do? They sent all these young German, pure German, Aryans into battle where they could get gassed. And one of the excerpts, Adolf Hitler kind of, fantasizes or argues or says, what we should have done is round up 15,000 Jews, put them on the front lines, let them get gassed. The gas attack, let them get gassed. And then the German soldiers, we could go in and we could fight, without getting a gas attack. For for historians that are this intentionalist side, that's the evidence for them that it's in Hitler's head. On question 2, they argue that, yes, Hitler created the environment, but he ordered it as well. The issue there is there's no explicit primary documents that say that. There is evidence that bureaucrats said that they had Hitler's support, but everyone said that. Like, that's how you got away with things in National Socialist Germany. Is, oh, well, the Fuhrer supports it. Oh, okay. It's kind of like everyone said that. And so it's a lot of, well, Hitler likes this, so there's more proof that the bureaucracy is, trying to come up with policy that they believe Hitler will like. And so, when Chancellor Hitler says we need to enact the final solution of the Jewish question in Europe in his speech, it's up to the bureaucrats to implement that policy. A synthesis view, when you read other books, the synthesis view is called cumulative radicalization. That while Hitler did not have a master plan to exterminate the Jewish population in Europe, World War II provided the opportunity to start thinking about it. Like, the opportunity arose, so you go, wait a minute. This would be an excellent time to achieve a political goal. Okay? And so you have working towards the Führer. The German bureaucracy, immersed in National Socialist ideology, in National Socialist ideas, work towards the Führer, fulfill the vision of the final solution to the Jewish question in Europe. Some books and authors. Christopher Browning, Ordinary Men. Hans Mommsen, Alternative to Hitler. Hans Mommsen, the German historians, he is the biggest proponent of this idea that, Germans didn't really support Hitler. And so, just to let you know my opinion, I disagree with that completely. But I did tell you the other side. That's why students like me. I did tell you the other side. The evidence that, in a rigged election, you still only got 40% of the vote. I mean, no. Yes, that is an argument. That is an argument that not everyone supported Hitler. I mean, so. But I could argue you supported you actively participated in the war in society. You supported it. Kind of thing. The intentionalist point of view, Germany in the World Wars. Would you guys like to read a banned book? Down here below, Daniel Goldhagen, 1996, Hitler's Willing Executioners. When this got published, it got excoriated in Germany and parts of Europe. It got banned in Germany. Okay. Because what Hitler's Willing Executioners says is my argument. I agree. I agree with this book. The German society were willing executioners. Daniel Goldhagen spent 800 pages proving that the National Socialist Party in power depended on support, and they got it. Okay. Einstein's group, and I've already given you an example. Einstein's group. Would you like another example? The Gestapo. The Gestapo was a small organization in Germany. Okay. Guess how mainly the Gestapo functioned. They functioned almost solely on informants. German citizens calling in or writing in, informing on their neighbors. Okay. The Gestapo in a lot of ways was not as powerful as they're kind of made out to be. They're kind of made out to be these evil Star Wars stormtroopers that knew everything, they knew all and saw all. The Gestapo relied mainly on informants, regular Germans calling in or writing in and informing on their neighbors. Okay, so that's an argument point in my favor. The Germans supported National Socialism in Germany. Okay, at least up until the war turned badly. Like once World War II started going badly, then people got upset with Hitler. Okay. Some other book, Ian Kershaw, In the End, Hitler's Germany. That's a really good book. I recommend it. I've read it. I recommend that book. It's a good book. So there you go. So if you want to read some of those books, dive in. You can. Thank you.